What's up, guys? I'm sure by now you have seen some of these crazy AI-generated Star Wars images that are pretty cool in some ways, also really weird in others. I'm not really sure what's going on here, so instead of making cool pictures, I have decided to use AI to its fullest capability and solve some problems within the Star Wars fandom by making it rank different topics and aspects of Star Wars to settle some differences between fans. In my last couple videos, we ranked Jedi and Sith, but for this video, I asked ChatGPT to rank the top 10 bounty hunters in all of Star Wars, and of course, we have to pay our respects to the AI, so it doesn't come back to haunt us in the future. We're going to kind of fly through the first 5, and then we'll really get into the top 5 bounty hunters according to ChatGPT. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Jarin, and I feel like he could be a little bit higher, but honestly, we don't see him do that much bounty hunting, I suppose. He's definitely one of my favorite characters and bounty hunters overall, so I think he deserves to be on the list. At number 9, we have Singh, and while she started out as just a background character in the Phantom Menace pod race scene, she quickly became a great bounty hunter in the Clone Wars series, and I really think this is a good ranking for her. She's probably one of the more underrated bounty hunters in Star Wars, so I think she might even be a little bit higher for me. At number 8, we've got another Clone Wars bounty hunter, Embo. He's a man of few words, but honestly, he's got some pretty epic scenes in the Clone Wars. He's got that classic bounty hunter coolness and vibe to him, so I think he's pretty deserving of a spot on this list. This is where it starts to get a little bit interesting for me. I'm not sure how I feel about Zam Wesell being on this list, especially when there's some other bounty hunters that you'll see did not make this list. Zam does play a pretty critical role in Attack of the Clones compared to some of the other side bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back, but I don't know. Once you guys see this full list, let me know what you think about Zam being on the top 10. So number 6 is where me and ChatGPT start beefing, because Jango Fett is my favorite bounty hunter overall, and I feel like he deserves to be a little bit higher than number 6 for sure. I mean, he's the template to the Clone Army, which is the most powerful army in the galaxy at that point, so he's such a badass character, and I wish we could get more of him in Star Wars. But on to the top 5. This should be kind of interesting. I'm not sure I really agree with any of it, to be honest, other than maybe number 1. But yeah, we'll see if you guys agree, and here we go. At number 5, we've got Mr. Cowboy Hat himself, Cad Bane. The only reason I don't agree with this is because I think he should be higher. Honestly, I've really come to like Cad Bane as a character. I really loved his live action appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, and he is just so killer in the Clone Wars. I mean, what other guy is going to go up against Obi-Wan Kenobi with a lightsaber that's, not a Jedi or a Sith? I mean, that's just super badass. So definitely like Cad Bane on the list, but I think he could be a bit higher. At number 4, we've got Bossk. I don't know about this one, to be honest, because I really like Bossk. He's definitely like one of my favorite character designs overall. He's from the original trilogy. Obviously, we don't see too much of him in those movies, but he plays a pretty vital role in Boba's uprising as a bounty hunter in the Clone Wars, and while there's not much on him, he's honestly one of the most legendary bounty hunters in Star Wars. I think his role in the Legends, comics, and books definitely puts him above some of the other bounty hunters that could be on this list, and I've got no problem with him being in the top 5. At number 3, I think ChatGPT is playing a little bit of favorites for its robot friends, because IG-88 to me is just not a top 5 bounty hunter. I mean, I had to go to Forces of Destiny to find footage of this dude in action, and while he's in a lot of the comics and a lot of the Legends material, I feel like ChatGPT definitely weighs the amount of, content and like history behind the characters, because he is an original trilogy character and that holds a lot of weight. But I don't know, I just feel like there's not enough content on him on screen for him to be top 5. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this one. At number 2, we've got Dengar, and I feel like this is kind of a similar situation to IG-88. I mean, Dengar does have a lot more screen time comparatively speaking, but he just doesn't do enough and doesn't have his own characteristics, I think, to be, the top 2 bounty hunters. I think, he deserves a spot on this list for his legendary status as an original trilogy character. But really, I mean, we haven't really seen him do anything other than just be a handyman for Boba and his group and whatnot. So while I do think he deserves a spot on this list, I would have put him probably around 7 or 8 instead of number 2. Alright, so before we get to number 1, I've got to squash some beef with ChatGPT and just mention a few bounty hunters that I feel like deserve to be on this list, but they got absolutely robbed. Starting with Fennec Shan, definitely one of the coolest new bounty hunters in Star Wars. Forlom and Zuckuss, I mean, where were these guys? Got absolutely robbed. Such a cool little duo. Greedo, I mean, he didn't get crisped by Han Solo for nothing. And Dirge, I feel like Dirge is a completely underrated character overall. The man can't die, so he deserves to be somewhere on this list. And now for number 1, I think we all know who it is, the most iconic and most overrated Star Wars character of all time, Mr. Boba Fett. And honestly, I only say he's overrated because I wasn't the biggest Legends fan back in the day, at least of those stories and that aspect of Boba. I always liked him in the original trilogy. I just always felt he didn't do that much, and he honestly goes out like a punk in the original trilogy. So I just never really understood why he was respected as the, greatest bounty hunter of all time, when on screen we really don't see him do much. I mean, he's got away with the ladies, I'll give him that, but until The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, honestly, I would have said I like Jango so much more than Boba. But really, these new appearances from the character and seeing Tamora Morrison play him has really taken the character to a whole nother level for me, and honestly has become one of my favorite characters. I've really loved the interpretation and all the stuff that they've done for the character as he, moves forward in his life and he survives the Sarlacc pit. So I really like that idea, and I like the direction of the character. I hope we see him again soon in Star Wars because I think we can always use more Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett. I'm not sure there's too many people that'll disagree with ChatGPT on this one because Boba is obviously a super legendary Star Wars character, has one of the most iconic looks in all of Star Wars, and he's truly a badass. So I think it nailed it with number 1, but honestly, I feel like this was the weakest list that we've done so far as ChatGPT goes. I'm interested to see what you guys think overall. What are your favorite bounty hunters? Did this list not cover any? The next ChatGPT video will be ranking the top 10 clone troopers, so I hope you're looking forward to that. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys watching. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time.